Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to create an item bank assessment. We're going to add item bank items to that assessment, and we're going to weight those items, excuse me, on that assessment. So I'm going to log into Mastery Manager, and we're going to click on the Assessments button at the top here. And we're going to create an assessment on this using this link here, Create Assessment. Now, first thing you want to do is change the type from answer key only to item bank assessment. This is very important. You have to create it as an item bank assessment. There is a special nomenclature to creating the assessments, and I'm going to actually go back and grab a sample. We'll use this as a sample. Control C. I do this all the time. I just use what someone else has written in the titles to make sure that I get the titles right, which I think is what everyone kind of does. Again, I'm creating assessment. I'm creating an item bank only, and then I'm going to use this as a template. So we're actually creating a district assessment. Sure, we'll keep it science. We'll change the year to next year. I don't need a semester. We'll call it 6th grade. And then we'll call it test growth and DBD. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got some different parts of this name that signify what this test is. So if someone is scrolling through the list of tests, they can see that the school year that it was used in, what subject, they can see that it's a district assessment, it has a title, they can see the grade level, and they can see who made it. Okay, the next part for course and section is this is how you indicate who it is that can take this test. Now, I am able to assign this to a bunch of different folks. I'm not sure what teachers actually see in this list, but this might be something that if you would like to make a test and need it to be assigned to more people, this is something that I can do for you. So for now, we're just going to click none, or you can click your own sections, whatever those sections might be. So since this is a 6th grade science test, we probably should give it to science. And we'll give it to 6th grade science teachers. Because why not? And then you can indicate a building. I usually don't. This would be if it's a particular test for just one school. Grade level, in this case it's 6th grade, subject it's science, department is science, and the department actually helps different folks access it. So if it is a science department head, they'll be able to see it if you assign it to the science department, which is useful. Okay, going to leave that. I don't need to select a term or a grading scale, none of that stuff. Do I need to change? So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to click Save. Okay, so at this point, we've created an item bank assessment. Here it is, and here are all the different things we can do. To add items, which is the next part of this video, we're going to click on the Layout button and wait. And wait. You can see all the different pieces of the assessment here. Oh, okay. So once we get to the layout part, we can add questions. So we're going to click on Add Questions, and then we can choose questions from a specific item bank. So I'm going to choose the Middle School Science Growth Assessment item bank because that's where we've been putting our items. You can indicate whether you want to just search through the items that have never been used on a test or some that have been. I'm not going to select that. You can look for items that have passages. I'm not going to select that either. You can look for certain style items. I'm not going to do that. You can look at search the items for specific words. If the item bank had hundreds and hundreds of items in it, I might be using some of these search criteria. As it stands, I do not. You can also do it by standard. If you want to select a specific standard, you can search them by that. But what I'm going to do is just search them all because there aren't that many to begin with. And I'm just going to select some. So as you can see, these are all the items that are actually in that item bank, in the Middle School Growth Assessment item bank. And then you just click on the little box at the lower left-hand corner of the item to add it to the test. And you can add multiple items at a time. I try to do it from just one page. I don't go through the different pages and click them because I find that that has different results. So you can add a few items, you can add the selected items, and boom, here they are. Now, you can also add sections. So, and you can title the sections whatever you want. I usually do it by the standard. Okay. And then notice the section title up here. And then you can add as many sections as you want, as long as you have items in between. If you only had one item, you couldn't add a second section. You actually have to add the items first, and then you can add the sections. The next one is ETS 1-4. Notice that section goes here. Now, if we wanted to, you can actually just drag and move the section to wherever you like. You just can't put it at the end. There has to be at least one item after the section. You can change the numbering if you want to restart the numbers after each section. Well, that's up to you. And that is how you do it. You can also rearrange the items if you want to move the items around. You just drag them back and forth, and that moves them around. You can also use condensed view, and that's easier to move the items around, especially if you have a bunch of them. So you can actually put an item. You can't move things such that a section is at the bottom of the page without any items after it. Okay, we'll save this. And then after we save it, we're going to do the weights. So this is how you assign different point values to each question. So let's say I want to make question 1 worth twice as much as the rest of the questions. First, you click weights in the link line here. It takes you to this section. You can use group changes to actually change the points throughout an entire test. So like if I wanted all the points, if I wanted all questions 1 through 3 to be worth 2 points, then no, okay. If I wanted the whole, let's say I want the whole test to be worth 100 points, then I can use this to actually distribute that number of points throughout all the questions. If I wanted each question to be worth 2 points, I can use this function to assign points to every question. But in our case, I want to make question 1 worth twice as much. So I just change the point value to 4, leave those to 2, click save, and now we have a weighted exam. So that this one will be weighted more total points versus the others. Or if you, let's say both of these questions 3 and 4 were, and they're called 3 and 4 because I set that section to start at question 3. That's why they're numbers 3 and 4. Let's say that number 3, while they're both on the same standard, let's say number 3 is like DOK 2 and number 4 is DOK 1. And so I want the DOK 2 question to be worth twice as much in the same standard. That might make a lot of sense. And I can change those weightings here in the weights section of the assessment. That concludes this video of creating an item bank, adding an item to adding an item bank item to an item bank assessment, and then lastly, adding and changing the weights for different items.